Mr. Zia's rule was legitimized under the doctrine of necessity. So I say that independence of judiciary, the rule of law, equal opportunities, equal treatment before law, these are the guaranteed rights and principles secured under the Constitution. It is because of bad governance, weak governments, interference by military dictators, and wrong selection of staff in the judiciary, that these rights have not been fully secured to the people of Pakistan. So duty lies on the people as a whole to elect true representatives, high character people, and then subsequently it devolves on the representatives of the people chosen to the parliament and the constituent assembly to ensure the enforcement of these rights under the Constitution without trampling upon such rights. As regards legitimacy of General Zia's rule, it was done under compulsion by the then Supreme Court, to which I am neither a party nor do I agree that it was justified by any reason, law or logic. You might remember the statement of a Supreme Court judge, retired Supreme Court judge from Lahore, who has now publicly announced that हम क्या करते अगर हम उनको बहाल करते सिविल गवर्नमेंट को और फौजी हुक्मरान को रास्ता दिखा देते तो हमें एक कलम से बर्खास्त कर देते हैं और आवाम कुछ नहीं करती। तब सब बातें ये आपके इल्म में हैं। I have nothing more to add that it is the weakness of governance and defect in the system, not the constitution. Mr. Nisar Hafiz has put a question as to difference between taking fresh oath by judges in 1999 and 2007. I have said time and again that there is a world of difference between the two occasions. In 1999, emergency was declared against the elected Prime Minister of Pakistan, whereby not only the Prime Minister was dismissed, but National Assembly, provincial assemblies, Senate, provincial governments, federal government, everything was abolished. Although the reasons for may not be justified, but action was not directed against judiciary. Even the PCO of 99 was promulgated after the passage of 4 months, when the dictator was given to understand but perhaps the judiciary may declare his act as unconstitutional, null and void, and he may suffer the consequences that prompted him to bring about PCO. Even at that time, you should recall that Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and 5 judges from Sindh, 1 judge from Lahore, had completely refused to take oath under Musharraf. While some of the judges in the high courts, they were not called for oath. Speaking for myself, in those days I was posted to a circuit bench of Sindh High Court sitting at Sakha. So when the news reached me, I contacted Chief Justice of Pakistan. I was told that his house is under siege by army, so you cannot speak. I contacted another Chief Justice who had served as Chief Justice of Sindh and was at that time in the Supreme Court. He was also not available, but he gave me a back ring and asked me as to what are the other judges doing. I said all other judges are in Karachi. I, along with another junior judge, am at Sakha. So he said, Baba, individual decisions don't count. There should be collective decisions. So since all the judges at Karachi, including the then Chief Justice, had decided, he did not advise me this way or that way. Then I contacted a very highly respected retired judge of the Supreme Court at Karachi. and you would wonder that he advised me to take oath, saying that, Rana, look here, you have been independent, you have been a man of integrity, so if you remain on the bench, you can deliver something. But if you step down, you cannot do any justice, you cannot do any service to anyone. So my humble advice to you is to do justice according to your conscience, law and the constitution, bypassing this PCO. Never care about PCO, but continue on the bench. And therefore I decided. As regards 2007 PCO, there was absolutely no justification, not even 1%, because it was not promulgated against the sitting government. A 22 grade officer, fearing that his eligibility to run for elections as presidential candidate might be declared illegal and unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in a pending case. In the darkness of night he decided, and in the sunset of 3rd November, he declared this proclamation of emergency, accusing only superior judiciary and curtailing the freedom of press. So only there were two targets, that is judiciary and the media. Therefore, the judges who were conscious, and we were very much present in the chambers, although it was not a public working day, but whenever we are in Islamabad, we go to office for research work, for study work, for judgments. So we had assembled in the chamber of the Chief Justice, and 7 of us declared the action as illegal, unconstitutional and against law. Not only that, the full bench consisting of 7 judges, including Justice Iftikhar Chaudhary, restrained the army chief, the president, the Prime Minister and the Governor to administer fresh oath of office to any of the sitting judge. Likewise, all sitting judges were prevented from taking fresh oath because it was suspended. And copies of such orders were collected by media people of 2 channels who had scaled over the wall, come to the chambers, collected photostat copies of the orders duly signed by us, and they flashed on the TV channels through satellite. Copies were faxed to Governor House, Prime Minister House, President House, Army Chief's House, and many of the vast majority of judges decided not to take oath, myself being one of them. So there is a world of difference, and now you see there was no resistance in 99. Judges stepped down, but there was no public cry. There was no agitation by advocates. There was no struggle. There was no criticism. As against that, people burst out their emotions along with advocates, members of civil society, so on, so forth, and this struggle is still going on. So you cannot compare both the PCOs with each other. I won't say that these are one and same, though maybe by the same person. Now another question put by some of the audience is as to the restoration of judges. One question by Mr. Malik Sheikh is as to what are the main hindrances. There is no, it is the lack of political will on the part of the ruling government. The rest of the answer has been already given by Mr. Hassan Iqbal, that when judges were illegally and unconstitutionally laid off, they can be restored by a resolution of the Parliament condemning the act of the General and passing an executive order by the Prime Minister, which even if orally announced 3 months, 6 months earlier, would have been carried out without any hesitation. I am told the time is very short. One question is Hindus in Pakistan are having full rights of citizens. So as far as the law goes, as far as the constitution is concerned, these are there. Practically, Hindus have representation in all walks of life, be it government agencies or private corporations and autonomous bodies. Now, as far as law and order situation is concerned, of course, there are difficulties, they are made victims, but it is not only the Hindus of Sindh, even poor communities of Memon and Sheikh are subjected to such acts of condemnation, which can hardly be justified. But so far law is concerned, law makes no distinction about the rights of minorities and majorities. Last question is about the eligibility of a person to become president. One of the requirements is that he must be a Muslim. Now that is a constitutional provision. It was a mistake committed in 1973, which ought to be rectified, because otherwise also with 97% Muslim population, how is it possible for a minority person to get elected as president? So this mistake is going on, this error or this misconception is going on, and I will not say anything more. Thank you.
मेहरबानी साईं राणा भगवान दास साहब। हाणे मां दरख़्वास्त कंदुसि साईं अहसन इक़बाल खे पंहिंजे सवालनि जा मुख़्तसिर नमूने जवाब ॾियनि।